Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the July 18th, 2023 meeting of Council. I would note that Council was called to order at 6 p.m. and adjourned to closed session to consider a number of items of business as detailed in the agenda. I will now call upon the CAO to provide the report on the closed session deliberations.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Council. Council concluded its closed session deliberations at 6:25 p.m. and I can provide the following summary of its closed session deliberations. 1, confidential direction was given to staff and the Township Solicitor regarding the litigation matter. 2, the Council received advice from the Township Solicitor and from staff regarding the short-term rental bylaw. And 3, a procedural vote was taken in closed session for the purpose of adopting confidential minutes from the June 27th, 2023 closed meeting of Council.
Thank you. I'll now ask everyone to please stand for the national anthem. We would like to begin this meeting by acknowledging the land on which we gather as the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee peoples, acknowledging the One Bowl and Spoon Treaty. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Please note that these meeting proceedings are being broadcast live, recorded, and made available through the Township website and youtube.com. Regional Council meets this Thursday, July 20th at 6:30 p.m. The NPCA Board meets the following morning, Friday, July 21st at 9 a.m. The Court of Revision for the Engineer's Report Update to the Consolidated South Wainfleet Drain will be held p.m. Notifications were distributed to impacted property owners on June 28th. If you have any questions about the process, please contact the Drainage Superintendent. I'll be participating in the South Niagara Mayor's Challenge with Niagara Skydive on Saturday, July 29th, where I'll complete a tandem skydive to raise money for the Winger School Nutrition Program. This will take place during Niagara Skydive's 10th anniversary event being held at the Niagara Central Dorothy Runling Airport. All are welcome and encouraged to attend. Information on how to donate is on our Facebook page. Our next regular meeting of Council will be held Tuesday, August 8th at 7 p.m. Are there any announcements or remarks from members of Council? Councillor Anderson.
Through you, Mayor, thank you. I'd just like to note that for the community and anyone in attendance and on listening to video, that the third week of July is always National Drowning Prevention Week. We're a lake community and lots of us have ponds and pools, etc. And so it bears just thinking about being safe this summer. Thank you very much.
Councillor Gilmore.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to advise staff I'll be away for the August 8th meeting on vacation.
Thank you. Moving on to the adoption of the previous council minutes. Are there any comments or corrections for the draft minutes from the regular meeting of council held June 27th, 2023? So I have a motion then that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held June 27th, 2023 be adopted as circulated. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councilor McClellan? Councillor Anderson, any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Moving on to the minutes of the special meeting of council held July 6, 2023. Are there any comments or corrections for the draft minutes from the special meeting? Seeing none, okay. I have a motion that the minutes of the special meeting of council held July 6, 2023 be adopted as circulated. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councilor McClellan? Councilor Gilmore? Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moving on to the public meeting portion. In accordance with the Planning Act, a public meeting is held to present information regarding the proposed amendment to the public and for council to receive comments from the public. Staff will not make a recommendation and council will not make a decision on the proposed amendment at this evening's public meeting. A planning report will be brought forward by staff and considered by council at a later date. As a member of the public, you are welcome to request to be notified of any future meetings respecting the proposed amendment. Please provide your contact information on the sign-in sheet located at the back of council chambers, and please be advised that the sign-in information will form part of the public record for this application. I will now ask the planner to provide details on the purpose of the proposed amendment and any written comments received.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to all of council. So the subject lands are located on the south side of Feeder Road East, between Forks Road and Wilson Road, and are known municipally as 40625 Feeder Road East. No, it's not working. The subject lands are approximately 24 hectares in size and currently contain a single detached dwelling and several agricultural buildings. The lands are designated as prime agricultural in the Niagara official plan, agricultural area in the township's official plan, and zoned agricultural A2 under our zoning bylaw. So the applicant proposes to add a garden suite to the subject lands through a temporary use bylaw, which is a type of zoning bylaw amendment. So the application is proposing to rezone the subject lands to a temporary site-specific zone, agricultural A2-78 zone, to permit that garden suite for a period of up to 20 years as per the applicable provisions of the Planning Act. So the applicant has submitted a site plan showing the location of the proposed garden suite, which is to be located to the rear of the dwelling between the pond and the agricultural buildings. The garden suite location complies with the setback, lot coverage, and height requirements of the zoning bylaw. A garden suite is essentially a secondary residential unit that is designed to be portable. So the proposed garden suite is on screen now, and this unit meets the definition under the township zoning bylaw. In terms of, in accordance with the Planning Act, the application notice of this public meeting was circulated to property owners within 120 meters of the subject lands. Public notice board was also posted on the property, and the application was posted on the township's website. So the application was circulated to external and internal departments, and the following comments have been received. So the township bylaw enforcement officer noted no concerns or comments. Township drainage department noted that the subject lands are assessed to the consolidated South Wainfleet drain system, with drain number 25 being located on the northern boundary of the property, but that due to the nature of the application, there were no concerns or comments. The building department had no concerns, but they did identify some building permit requirements for the garden suite, the foundation, and the deck, as well as some setbacks to the existing farm buildings, and noted that this would be reviewed as part of the building permit review. Niagara Region Growth Strategy and Economic Development staff noted no objection to the application, as they deemed it consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to provincial and regional policies. Enbridge Gas noted no objection, but indicated that they reserve the right to amend their development conditions. As of today, there were no written public comments received for this application.
Thank you. Does the applicant wish to provide any comments regarding their application? Okay. Does any member of council have any questions or comments regarding the proposed amendment? Seeing none? Okay, is there anyone in the gallery that wishes to provide comment on the proposed amendment? Okay, seeing no further comments, I will now ask the planner to review the next steps.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So staff report regarding a complete review of the application will be brought forward at the next available council date. And that will have a complete review of the application and provide a recommendation for council. I do have a statutory statement regarding appeal rights. So if a person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public meeting and or make written submissions to the township regarding the proposed zoning bylaw amendment before council gives or refuses to give approval to the application, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the township to the Ontario Land Tribunal and may not be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the Ontario Land Tribunal unless, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes the public meeting for the proposed zoning bylaw amendment. If you wish to be notified of the decision of council regarding the proposed application, you must make a written request to the deputy clerk of the township. Moving on to delegations, we have no delegations on the agenda this evening. So moving on to staff reports, community development services, the memorandum respecting short-term rentals. Ms. Earle, would you please give us a brief overview of your report?
Thank you, and good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. On June 27th, council referred the draft short-term rental licensing bylaw back to staff and requested a special meeting of council under the advisement of the township's solicitor. At the closed meeting on July 6th, council directed staff to make additional revisions to the draft bylaw. These changes include addition of the definition of occupant, removal of the seasonal residence definition and requirement, changes to section 4.1 indicating that no person shall operate an STR purchased after June 21st, 2022 unless the property has been owned by the owner for 2 years prior to the date of the license application. Changes to section 4.8 and 4.9 indicating that an STR shall not advertise or operate with more than one stay period within 7 consecutive days. And changes to the accompanying appendices to reflect the demerit points and associated penalties. As such, staff would respectfully request council's consideration of this memo, the amended draft short-term rental licensing bylaw, the amending AMPS bylaw for enforcement of the new licensing bylaw, and the amending fees and charges bylaw to incorporate the annual license application fee of $1,000 per unit. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rowe. I have a motion that the memorandum dated July 18th, 2023 from the Manager of Community and Development Services regarding a revised short-term rental licensing bylaw be received and that the revised draft short-term rental licensing bylaw appended to this memorandum be presented to council for adoption, and that the AMPS non-parking bylaw number 027-2019 be amended to include short-term rentals, and that the fees and charges bylaw number 013-2023 be amended to include the fee for short-term rental applications. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councilor McClellan, Councilor Gilmore. Any discussion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, moving on to Public Works staff reports. PWSR 015-2023, respecting the award of tender for septic system repairs. Mr. Jamieson, will you please give us a brief overview of your report?
Great. Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor, to all of council. So Public Staff Report 15 of 2023 speaks to the tender results for the septic system repairs. The township received 2 bids, and upon confirmation with the project engineer, staff recommend engaging Geo Barnes & Sons to complete the repairs for the septic system. Staff further recommend engaging the services of RJ Burnside to perform the contract administration for this project.
Thank you. So I have a motion that the Public Works Staff Report PWSR 15-2023 respecting the award of tender for septic system repairs be received, and that council authorize the manager of operations to engage the services of Geo Barnes & Sons Limited to complete the repairs for the septic system, and to engage the services of RJ Burnside to perform the contract administration. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councilor McClellan? Councilor Gilmore? Any discussion? Seeing none, I will call a question. All in favor? And that's carried. Moving on to the review of correspondence. C 2023-276, respecting the proclamation request, World Hepatitis Day, July 28th, 2023. Is there any discussion, or would anyone like to make a motion? Make a motion that the proclamation request from the Niagara Health System regarding World Hepatitis Day on July 28th, 2023 be supported. Any discussion? Councillor Gilmore? Can I get a seconder then? Councillor McCullen? Any further discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, moving on to bylaws. I have a motion that the following bylaws be read and passed this 18th day of July 2023. A, bylaw number 026-2023, being a bylaw to license and regulate the short-term rentals in the Township of Wainfleet. B, bylaw number 027-2023, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 027-2019, being a bylaw to establish an administrative monetary penalty system for non-parking related offenses. C, bylaw number 028-2023, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 013-2023, being a bylaw to establish and regulate payment of various fees and charges within the Township of Wainfleet. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor McClellan, Councillor Anderson. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Are there any notices of motion from members of council? Seeing none, we have no closed meetings. So moving on to the bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council, bylaw number 029-2023, being a bylaw to adopt, ratify, and confirm the actions of council at its meeting held on the 18th day of July 2023. So I have a motion that the bylaw number 029-2023, being a bylaw to adopt, ratify, and confirm the actions of council at its meeting held on July 18th, be read and passed this 18th day of July 2023. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Van Fleet and Councillor McClellan. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. There being no further business, this meeting is now adjourned.